Hello everybody, I'm down in the main tunnel today and I want to talk about getting plants for free today. So propagation, it's one of those skills that I think every gardener should have under their belts and have a little bit more knowledge about to enable you to move forward with these things. Now there's plenty of ways of propagating a plant. You can start right down at the very roots and divide roots up. You can take vegetative cuttings, softwood cuttings, hardwood cuttings, loads of different things, and even some bits of propagation you can actually use half of a leaf and set it out in a seed tray and you'll get sprouts and shoots coming up from that. I said there's so many ways. The more you investigate that, the better you become as a gardener, and the more plants you can make for free. Now obviously this last month on my channel it's all about seed sowing, because that's the time of year it is. I have a lot of plants to grow. I like growing lots of plants, so I sow lots of seeds, and I'll be no different today. I will be sowing some more seeds later, but quickly I just wanted to quickly show you this, so I'll grab the camera and get you in close because it's important for the next bit. Right, so this is the support for my hanging shelf, and it's basically a scaffolding board held up by 2 bits of rope from the roof of the polytunnel. This keeps pests, mice out of the way and things, and you can grow things without any bother. A couple of slug pellets up there to defend against any slugs that might be in the compost, and it helps save your plants from the doom. Now I should have used these with my sweet peas last year and I didn't. And I lost them, so I've had to resow, and I resowed just about a week or so ago, and I brought them down yesterday, and now I'm going to take these covers off. I just put them on to protect them for 24 hours because they've come out of my warm kitchen at home. Now they look a bit long and etiolated, but they're not. They're fine, and that growth will slow right down now that we're in the cold of the polytunnel, but they will grow, and we've got some really good germination there, so I'm fairly happy with them. Now next to them we've got some Snapdragons. These are ranunculus. I've shown you all these plants before, and a few herbs and grasses down this end. And again some Antirrhinums, and this is Ami Majus, and this is Sweet Rocket. Now these are all flowers for this year, sown in the autumn and grown on under cool conditions here in the polytunnel. But it's these I want to deal with today, these Antirrhinums, or Snapdragons is the common name. Now you may notice, if I just come to the side here, this is a sweet pea, one of the ones that has survived through the winter, and you can see a similarity in growth. Just the stem comes up and you've got leaves coming off it, the same as these Snapdragons have here. Now with sweet peas you pinch them out to encourage side shoots, and the Antirrhinums are exactly the same. And if I just zoom in here into this plant, hopefully you can see the little buds next to the leaf axials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch these out, but I'm going to use those pinchings to make more plants. So I need that tray. We'll take it away and we'll do some work on it. Now just talk about sweet peas for a minute. It's very common, and it's a much known fact that if you pinch sweet peas out, the branching from the sides from these leaf joints, that will encourage them, because at the very top of the sweet pea plant all the signals from the roots are being sent to the top of the plant to grow and carry on vining up, and that will do it. Eventually these side shoots will come out anyway, but when it gets to a point where it thinks, right, I've grown enough, I'll start sending out these shoots. They're always behind the main shoot. Now with autumn sown sweet peas, they've got a long time to grow, which these plants, these Antirrhinums, don't. And what that means is that as the sweet pea grows through the autumn, the branching, the side shoots will grow naturally anyway. So with the autumn sown sweet peas, you don't need to pinch the tops out. With a spring sown sweet peas, the ones I've got behind me I've just shown you, I will need to pinch them out to encourage those side shoots out quickly so that we get a mass of flowers before the summer ends. And it's not much difference with these. These are much slower growing, although they're quite tall now. If I pinch that out about here, what that will do is all these leaf joints below it, they will send out the side shoots and you'll get more flowers quicker because you've encouraged those side shoots to come out. They would happen naturally, but it would be a much longer period. And what I'm going to be doing later is sowing some more seed to replace these plants. So I want these to perform and go bam, and it all to be done in a short space of time. The plants can be ripped out, composted, and then the next set of plants can go in. So you're getting 2 for your money for that season. But I want to get 3, possibly even 4 or more. So you can propagate antirrhinums. They're classed as a tender perennial, and mostly they're grown as a hardy annual. And it's a bit of a confliction in terms. If you grow these through the winter, you would need to dig them up, pot them up, and keep them under cover, like in this polytunnel here. Sorry, some water just dripped on me. So yeah, you would need to bring them in indoors, especially in this country. I don't know how it works in warmer countries, in some of the warmer parts of maybe America. I don't know, they might be able to grow right through. But here they're classed as a tender perennial, and you can't really grow them over winter. But what you can do is at the end of the season with these plants is you can dig the plants up, divide the roots, and as long as you've got root and a bit of foliage with it, you can plant that, overwinter them in a space like this, ready for next year. But I'm going to do some now, take some cuttings, because I want to grow these as a stopgap plant. So to pinch it out, to encourage the side shoots, we'll take that out, and I've cut it just above a node there, so that those 2 little things will now become the leaders of that plant. And this one, because it's got foliage, all I'm going to do is dibble a hole with my homemade dibber, pop that in, and just settle the compost around that root. I've used sieve compost again, because they're going to be really fine roots that come out of that. That plant now doesn't have any roots to support it, and it's thinking, oh stuff, it's how am I going to get water? So it starts to send out really fine roots. I want the compost nice and loose, don't want any air gaps in there, so I've sieved the compost to get a better result. And the sieving, well, took me about nearly a whole minute. It was terrible. So I'm not going to take cuttings off all of these plants, because not all of them are of a decent size. But what I will do is this little tray will go up next to the Snapdragons, up on the plank up there, the hanging shelf. And as these smaller plants grow on through the next few weeks, I'll then take cuttings and add them to this little tray. So again, just a little stalk, and just drop it in. Now you'll probably find some of these will die and some will work, but that's just gardening. But you've given yourself the chance of extra plants for free, and you can't sniff at that. You can use a dibber if you want, a finer dibber. I just find my finger works just as well. There we go. So just get it into some soil and then water it and keep your soil moist. And you should be laughing, you should have some plants for free. And you can do this with many plants. You just observe how the plant grows, observe what the plant's doing, and you can literally just look at a plant and say, I can get some cuttings off that. And you can go ahead and take those cuttings. And if you're not sure, just try, have a go and see what happens. I say some of these will fail and some will be absolutely brilliant. So I think they call that apical dominance, where the top of the plant is the preferred choice of the plant and what bit it wants to grow. This will be a short one. That's a short one because I want to leave more leaf on there. There's not a lot of leaf on that one. And I should actually try doing this with sweet peas. I never have. So I might try that in the spring as well. So I'll leave the rest of those, I think. yeah, I'll let them grow on a bit more now. So some of these plants now are now encouraged to grow from the side shoots, and I've got nearly 10 free plants there. Hopefully I'll probably get 5 or 6 out to plant out later in the year. As I say, you'll get one flower spike from the top, and for every one of those little buds at the side you'll get another flower spike. So the more you encourage, the better. So there we go, that's the first part. Now we're going to go up home now to the greenhouse, where I'm going to sow some more seeds, some more Snapdragon seeds for a later harvest this year. So we should find that the spring sown plants will grow a lot faster than these autumn sown plants, because it's warm and getting warmer. They'll start to catch up. All these will have finished flowering when the new ones take over, so we get a nice continuation. So after this morning's propagation, where I was cutting up the Antirrhinums, taking the tips out to encourage branching, and potting those on to hopefully grow those on for more free plants, I'm now going to sow some as well. Now I haven't put the varieties on this because these were hard to come by, and I got these from a friend. We've shared a few packets of seeds, and I spent about an hour yesterday looking online. You can't get these anywhere, and it's even hard to find a reference to them. So that's why I haven't put the varieties names on there, but you can do the same with any Snapdragon or Antirrhinum seeds. They're both the same. Snapdragon's just a common name. And I'm going to sow these straight into modules, because that's much better for them. The tiny seed, and they don't prick out very well, because the tiny plants, and I've always sown them in modules and they work best. You can prick them out, but it's not very successful. And I'm just going to be sowing 1 or 2 seeds per cell. I've got 4 varieties there, 40 cell module tray, so a variety, 10 of each variety, and it's just to top up. I don't physically need them. I've got enough Snapdragons down the allotments, but what this will give me is hole fillers. So anywhere that there's a space in the garden, you know, I might plant 6 plants and 2 die off, I can just pop one of those in, so it's just extra flowers. And if not, I'll use them here at home as well, pop them in the garden here. So I'm just doing this for extras and to show that it can be done now. So you can sow Snapdragon seeds now, and these are very tiny seeds, therefore the roots that come out of them will also be very tiny. So this compost is sieved, because what you don't want is for the seeds tiny roots to be coming out and hitting a lump of compost, because it won't be able to do anything with that, and chances are that that bit of root will die off, and that's no good for anyone. So, and you also don't need to, I mean, there's the seed there, there's about 7 or 8 there, and you can basically can't see anything at all. There's just flecks of dust. So just 1 or 2 on the top of the compost, and you don't cover these. They need light to germinate, as well as water and the compost. And that's as simple as it gets. All I'll do now is I'll just water them from underneath, let the water soak up underneath, because those seeds are so fine they could wash away if you water them from above. And that is it. That is essentially it. And I'll label them and I'll put them on the propagator. Now again, they don't need to be on a propagator. You can get away with them on a windowsill, or just sat away in the corner of your kitchen somewhere, as long as they're getting some light as well as the heat and the compost and the water. I think that's the end of that packet, to be honest. Just about. So that is essentially it. That's all I'm going to do for these Snapdragons. And as I say, I'll label that one up so I know what it is. Then later in the year, when they've done flowering, I'll be digging them up and dividing them, potting them up, popping them in one of the polytunnels over the winter, and hopefully plant them out again sort of next spring. Right, so you probably noticed the bushes missing. I got that down yesterday. Also trimmed up that great big bay tree. I don't know if you can see it there. Planted that a few years ago as well. But anyway, that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone. Stay safe. See you in a couple of days. Ta-ra now.